The Case for Legalizing Capitalism by Kel Kelly. Copyright 2010 by the Ludwig von Mises Institute and published under the Creative Commons Attribution License 3.0. Read by Zach Foster. This recording done by Political Spectrum Publishing. 1.1. What is an economy and how does it work? To understand how workers get paid, you need a basic knowledge of how an economy works. We hear a lot about the economy, that it's strong, or it's slowing, or that we need to improve it. We see it as a thing that we must somehow manage and grow as though it's a wild animal. But the economy is not a thing. It is simply us and our lives. The economy embodies each of us working, producing things we all need for our lives, and exchanging these things with others who are doing the same. Whether as individuals producing or as thousands of people grouped into a company and producing together, we all make stuff that businesses and individuals need, and we get compensated for the stuff we produce, and producing includes any of the activities that individuals and employees engage in that contribute towards creating a final product. We then exchange our stuff or our salaries for different stuff made by others. That's an economy. It's as simple as that. Imagine that you are stuck on a desert island. To survive, you catch fish by hand in the ocean. Since they are fast and slippery, it's a difficult job, taking you 12 hours to catch 2 fish. 6 hours per fish. You can therefore catch only 2 fish per day. But then you get smart. You decide to make a net. Yet, making a fishing net by hand takes time too, as it involves many steps. Searching the island for raw materials like grasses and vines, finding something to serve as the handle, twining and bending strong but pliable vines or twigs into a rim to support the netting, and finally braiding and weaving vines into netting and tying it to the frame to form a sieve-like scoop. With no tools available, this process will take you 5 days by hand. To take 5 days off of fishing without going hungry, you must save some of your caught fish for a couple of days by eating only 1 fish per day instead of 2. The saved fish will sustain you for the 5 days it takes to build the net, and once the net is complete, you can catch 50 fish per day. This example introduces some basic components of an economy. You have savings, the fish you set aside to eat over the course of several days that sustained you while you produced a capital good, the net. The capital good, which in this case was also a new technology, allowed you to improve your productivity, the number of fish you produced per day. Now that you have plenty of food to keep you from starving, you have more free time and labor available. You can use this to improve your standard of living by building a hut, a bed, clothes, and maybe even a boat. In addition to time and labor, though, you will need tools, more capital goods, with which to build these things. That means that it will take a lot of time, savings, and production of capital goods to improve your standard of living. Now, suppose that several other people also landed on the desert island. With a division of labor, each person can focus on making the things they are best at, given what needs to be made, which increases the total amount that all islanders can produce, and each person can trade most of what they produce for the goods made by the others. Obviously, the more capital goods, that being knives, hammers, nails, shovels, nets, axes, that get produced, the more consumer goods, being bowls, fish, beds, huts, hammocks, clothes, that can be produced in a given amount of time. With this division of labor among the castaways resulting in increased productivity, and with the existence of a capital structure, which consists of an organized collection of tools and technologies used to make things, there will be more goods produced overall in the island economy, which means higher standards of living. Obviously, part of the success of this process involves each person producing what others want or need. Making something just for the sake of making it will not necessarily satisfy the needs of others in the community. This concept will be discussed in more detail throughout the book. In this division of labor society, what each person produces becomes that individual's purchasing power. The things people make that they don't directly consume, they can trade for other goods that they need or want. In this hypothetical deserted island economy, the castaways' amount of consumption is based on their amount of production. The value of what they produce becomes the value of the amount they can consume, and to the degree that their production adds to the supply of goods in the economy, prices, barter exchange ratios, fall in proportion, increasing their purchasing power. This notion that supply, the things produced, creates its own demand, the means with which to consume, is known as Say's law. Notice specifically that what people on the island gain from producing and exchanging becomes their profit, not their wages. In this example, the individual producers do not pay themselves or each other wages when they produce for themselves or when they trade for other goods. If the island's cloth maker sells a shirt, or if the berry picker sells some berries, they are traded, or they are paid, other goods in exchange for the full amount of their production. Now, back to the real world. Today's complex modern economy still contains the same basic functionality. In our modern advanced economy, most of us produce a single thing: haircutting, electrician services, sales or marketing services, etc. And we then exchange our salary for everything else we want. We still have many individual producers such as hot dog vendors, farmers, painters, lawyers, and of course, economists. But most production takes place in companies. The primary difference here is that in addition to profits, wages are also present. In contrast to individual production, where all income consists of profit, wages appear once there is combined production, groups of people working together in companies, and individual producers within the group are paid in advance for producing an input or an intermediate product by business people, employers, managers. That is, someone in charge of orchestrating the production of individual intermediate products to combine them into a final product. The final product is partly composed of each individual worker's contribution. Their contribution is only an intermediate step towards completion of the product, except for the product of those few workers who are involved in the very last stages of production. In combined production entities, workers have freely chosen to work for someone else in exchange for wages, instead of producing on their own for profit. They would only choose to do this if they felt that they could make more income by accepting wages than in producing by themselves and earning profits.